Hi, it's Deirdre Waterson here from Ignite Yourself and welcome to Conversations with Dee. I'm here with Karen Lewis out at 705 Bees Creek and I've come out for float therapy.
Yes.
And I've just had the float. So I want to talk about that before we actually get to talk to Karen about what she does. So it was pretty amazing. I was in there and you become weightless. And I thought of all of the people who've got aches and pains in their body and injuries. And I think I saw here it's like floating in space. It was absolutely like floating in space. And I had a halo under my head because I was worried about my neck. I was just floating. I was a little bit, you first rewind, you have to have a shower before and a shower after. And I'm telling you that in case anybody's worried about the hygiene or the safety of getting into the water. So not only are you clean before you get in and you can clean it off when you get out, you have enough salt and Epsom salts in there that would kill anything but you. It doesn't kill you, I don't feel any stinging, I'm just floating and I'm off somewhere. And I didn't tell you, but driving out here was a bit emotional. I don't know why. No reason. I had tears wanting to flood out of my face for no reason. So having had the float therapy, I just feel energised and I feel totally relaxed. So hopefully I'm not talking too slow, but it was just incredible. And it's all of the different people I thought that could help if you've got joint problems, if you're stressed, if you can't wind down, because I'm sure, Karen, you know, people can really wind up, but they can't wind down. So thoroughly recommend anybody wants to come out and give it a go. I do feel like in the beginning my brain was a bit of fighting what was going on and trying to work out what was going on. So I would recommend at least 3, not just 1, so you get the full benefit of the float tank. And I felt so much better if I took my arms, they float into next to your body, but if you take them away, you've got this through your fingers and this feeling of even more weightlessness. I had a halo that would keep my head up because I had neck problems, but about halfway through I just wanted to see if I could take it off, and that felt amazing. I could feel the muscles in my neck relaxing. So an experience truly, truly worth having. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thanks Deirdre, that's wonderful.
And thank you for your time for this conversation.
Yes.
So I guess I would like, who are you? Who's Karen Lewis?
Oh, okay, so, gosh, you know, before we sat down, it's like, oh, how do I describe that? You know, there's you know, you get to a point in life and you've done so many different things. So you know, I thought, well, if I think, you know, take it back to the very beginning. So you know, I come from a family that actually migrated out from England back in the 60s. I was a baby, a newborn baby, so my parents left the homeland and came out to Australia. And we did lots of travelling around and things when I was quite young, so you know, I went to so many different schools and things like that, and I think that's impacted on me in terms of I think maybe creating some resilience, because you know, being the new kid in school can always be challenging, you know, feeling like you don't fit in anyway. So you know, I went to about 6 different primary schools before.
Primary?
Just
primary?
Yeah, just primary school. So once I got to high school, it did settle down a little bit. But yeah, we were travelling with my dad's work and things like that. So different things. I have one sister.
Yes.
And my parents are still alive, but they're at their, I suppose, that point in their life where, you know, it's, I suppose it's a concern for me in terms of, you know, health and wellness, you know, sort of,
they're getting older.
They are getting older, and, you know, my dad's pretty healthy and fit, and my mum's had a lot of health issues along the way, but, you know, I do what I can to help them and try to support them as best I can. But, you know, we moved up to Darwin when I met my husband when I was quite young. I'm just trying to think, I think it's 40 years ago this year. So met him, and we had son and daughter, twins, back in the mid-80s.
Okay.
Another probably important point in my life which kind of made me maybe stronger.
Yes.
Undiagnosed twins, didn't know I was having twins, and then all of a sudden...
Unexpected twins.
Unexpected, so that always gets...
Oh my goodness.
That's always a good conversation piece, but...
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's I think a bad dream. I mean, it would be wonderful, but it's also very...
that's right. Twice as nice, or
Yeah.
double trouble. Yeah, one of them. So, but look, I'm very blessed, and yeah, so we moved up to Darwin in the early 90s, 1992, I think it was.
Okay.
So we've been here for a while.
Yes.
I've worked for the majority of that time, working and being a busy mum and
Yes.
working mum. I worked for almost 20 years in the Northern Territory government, which probably is common for a lot of people out there,
In the
particularly
Territory.
in the Territory,
Yeah.
and loved it.
Yeah.
I really did. But I guess throughout that journey too, we're all here for a journey, and I'm probably got to a point where I was really looking into health and well-being. I think probably one of the catalysts was that Phil, my husband, and I, we went on a personal development course.
Oh,
And
yes.
so, yeah, it helped us to maybe start to look inwards.
Yes.
I think we were at a point in our lives where we were looking for a change, and I think we were looking externally.
Yes.
We were looking outside for the answers, but I think doing the work that we did, we realised that wherever we went, we would probably be in the same situation. So we started to look at it inwards and doing some changes there. So so I suppose physical fitness has always been a part of, well, not always been a part of definitely been a part of my husband's life. I was a bit late to take on physical fitness, but so you're never too late to learn.
Yes.
I probably started getting into sport and things when I was certainly well on my way to 40, if not already 40. So and then I got involved in triathlon, and that's
Great sport.
a great sport, and got to represent Australia over in London.
Oh,
So did all sorts of
congratulations.
different things.
Yeah.
But and then was really interested in health and fitness from that perspective, from my own personal benefit.
Yes.
We started to look at diet and things. Probably one of the first things we looked at was cutting out preservatives and things like that. So,
Yes.
becoming aware of the nutritional quality within our foods,
Yeah.
and wishing I knew now what.
Yes. When you were doing triathlon.
Well, yeah, or even when I was raising my kids and things
Yes.
like that. I look back at some of the stuff that I thought was healthy for us. But look, we do the best we can with what we've got.
Exactly. It's a journey and a lesson, and
Yeah.
I think you would not be alone. I mean,
No.
I can remember feeding my daughter 2-minute noodles because she
Yep.
really liked them, and no nutrition,
No, that's right.
really bad food, but they survive, and then we learn as we go.
Yeah. So I suppose I look back and haven't always lived the healthiest lifestyle, but when I talk about my aging parents, and I guess what I see there is something that I want to avoid for myself. So I think a lot of the changes and searching for information and sort of being a sponge and reading about so much stuff. I mean, we talk about gut health, and it's something that I've been really interested in, and read lots of books on, and certainly see that as a very important factor in terms of health
Absolutely.
and well-being.
Yeah, I agree.
And the science is now showing a lot of that stuff. But when we first started looking at it, people thought you
It
were
was
a bit.
poo-hooed,
Yeah,
it really was. And
bit
even
crazy.
only until the last, maybe, in Darwin, say, probably I'd say it's only been the last 3 or 4 years, but worldwide it's maybe 10 years.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's a big part.
Yeah, so lots of those things, I suppose, for our own personal journey, I was looking at health and well-being, and then we started looking at toxins that are in our environment, so all the toxins that are in our homes and things like that. So trying to switch out and getting away from ingredients that are in so many of our household products, and
Yes.
What we put not just in our bodies but on our bodies as well, and seeing the impact and that type of thing. So really looking at it from a holistic point of view. And then then a few years ago I decided that I wanted to do a complete change.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's the age that you get to and you think, well, I don't want to be doing this for the next 20 years. So I decided that I wanted to have a business that I could do working from home. I wasn't 100% sure exactly what it was going to be,
Okay.
but to me the ideal, my ideal life was going to be doing something that I could help people with, because that's always been something quite deep-seated in me. I do like to help people, which is, probably skipped over a bit there where I was doing, did my certificate 3 and 4 in health, in fitness, and was teaching within gyms and things like that, but helping people to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
And, so I always feel that I want to help people. So that's something that I really needed to do. And so, decided to leave my long-standing corporate role and
Well done.
and trust the universe that
Yeah.
something would turn up. I had faith that something would turn up. I suppose a little part of maybe some of what that journey was instigated by was I woke up one morning and I had actually the night before, so it's quite an interesting story how it actually came about. So I will tell a little story here. So I came home one night. Actually, I'd been out to a meeting, and I'd come home, and my husband had commented, "Why are you winking at me?" And I go, "Oh, I'm not winking." It's like, anyway. The next morning, I got up and I was doing a bit of a workout, and I did feel as if there was something going on with my eye. And so I went into, and hubby had already gone to work up early, and so I was home on my own, and I went into the bathroom and I looked in the mirror, and I couldn't actually close one of my eyes. It just, I couldn't close it. And then the more I looked in the mirror and looked at myself, I could see that the side of my face had dropped. So I was actually starting to get a little bit worried now, thinking, well, this is not good. Well, that was the first thing that I thought of, because I didn't have any idea what was going on. But I was feeling okay. I was, and I'd been working out, like I was doing a workout at home. Anyway, fortunately, my son-in-law, who lives close by, was home, and he came and picked me up and took me down to Palmerston Hospital, and my husband met me there. And they did a few tests and things, and they were excellent, by the way.
Yeah.
I have to give them a really good plug. The staff were excellent, because, I was quite, I suppose, traumatised a bit. I was afraid. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm meant to be fit and healthy. What's going on here? But I guess because my age, they did all the right things and did all the tests and things, but it ended up being Bell's palsy.
Oh.
So I'd never heard of it.
A lot of fit people do get that too. I don't know why, but anyway.
Okay, yeah. So for those that don't know, it's actually, it's like, it's an inflammation in behind the ear.
Wow.
And there's some nerves that control the side of the face.
Yes.
And so if that gets inflamed,
Yes.
then you lose control of that. So that side of the face drops.
Yeah.
I was probably fortunate in the fact that it wasn't a serious condition.
Yeah.
It
can take over the whole body.
Yeah. Well, I've seen, been on forums and support groups and things like that, and I've seen photos, and some people can have it quite severely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still scary.
Absolutely.
But look, I guess, I was fortunate we did get onto it fairly early, it was early. They gave me some strong medication, but then I also did acupuncture.
Yes.
And I did lots of self-care.
Yes.
Lots and lots of self-care. So I was doing a lot of float therapy, massage, combined with the acupuncture and resting. And within about 3 or 4 weeks, I started to see some improvement, started to get some movement back in the eye.
Fantastic.
And I have made a full recovery. But the reason I tell that story is because, and look, it's not I know there's a lot of people out there who have been through much, much worse. But for me,
it's a cornerstone, isn't it?
It is. It was like, okay, maybe I need to change. Maybe I need to look at some different things. And there's a belief that Louise Hay has a book, and different types of illnesses and injuries and things like that can have underlying meanings in terms of, and anything that is like a paralysis type of thing I looked up, and it can be maybe there's some blockages there.
Yes.
Or not expressing your feelings and how you really feel and all that sort of stuff. So that resonated with me, so I felt that I needed to do some work, and I did actually do a retreat in Bali, and lots of work for myself and healing and things like that. So I'm still on that journey. I'm still learning, but I do feel as if it's a bit of a turning point. And, because like perhaps a lot of women, our own self-care gets put at the bottom of the pile.
Nearly every woman. I don't know many
Yeah.
that don't.
Yeah.
So were you still working at that point in your life?
So,
at the government?
No, I had finished work.
Yes.
But I think there was still a lot of
Residual.
residual stress,
Stuff,
and just a whole lot going on, and maybe that uncertainty as to what I was going to do, and even starting a business can be quite stressful as well, and not knowing where you're going. But I think what it highlighted to me as well was the importance to. Ordinarily, I wouldn't spend money on going to a retreat for myself. I'd go,
No.
I'll be right,
Yes. Yeah.
But I think because that had happened, it gave me the push to do it. Yeah. So now I do take that time out, and a lot of the people I see, I always congratulate them when they come in and say, "Good on you for taking time out for yourself." One of my favourite sayings is, "You can't give from an empty cup."
Yes.
And I think by looking after ourselves and nurturing ourselves, then we can be better versions of us for everyone around us. So
I totally agree. I totally agree with all of that. And that's the cornerstone that created the change to your next set of growth. I always think, Oprah Winfrey says that you get the pebble, and if you don't listen, then you get the rock, and then if you don't listen, you get the boulder. And so that creates, I'm not sure if we're already preordained where we're going, but if you're not going in the right direction, something points you in the other direction for sure.
Totally.
But I'm curious, do you think your resilience in change and all of that starting a new business came from your moving earlier in your life?
I think so. I think what they say, show me the child at 7 and I'll show you the man, or whatever.
Yes.
So I think being put into a situation where you need to sink or swim. And I've felt that quite a lot throughout my life as well. Often jobs and roles that I would take, it was always kind of diving in head first, and
And now you can view it as a gift.
I do, particularly, with setting up, business,
Yes.
taking that leap of faith
Yeah.
and just deciding that, I've got to give it a proper go, and
boots and all.
yeah.
Have you always been out here at these?
So we've been here for about 9 years.
Yeah. Lucky you.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Tranquility plus.
Yeah.
And even the nice little chicken out here giving us a chat every now and then
Yeah.
adds to the ambience. Yeah, no, it's beautiful out here. So, yeah. And so the float tank came about because...
Okay, so I'd finished my work and was talking to Lynn Finley. Do you know Lynn? She does Darwin Colonics.
Oh yes, yes.
Someone that I'd met through some health and wellness networks, and was having a chat to her one day, and she said to me, "Oh, you know what we need in Darwin? We need a float tank." And it's like, what's that?
Yes.
I had no idea what it was. And so, it's like you say, with that, someone just drops a crumb.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of research and thought, oh, that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's something that I would like.
Yeah.
And so a couple of months later, we were actually travelling interstate for my sister's 50th, I think it might have been. And so I booked my husband and myself in to have a float and see what it was like.
Yes.
And was basically hooked.
And the rest is history.
So we both thought, this is pretty cool. And I think, there's lots of float centres around Australia.
Yes.
So anyone who's watching this, have a look. There's a Float Therapy Association of Australia, which I'm now the secretary as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they say,
you're on the board.
Yeah. And they've got a float finder on there. So wherever you are in Australia, or even overseas, you can look up and see where your nearest float centre is.
Well, I was just looking at the recommendations of what it's for. Can I just maybe read that out? So, improves sleep, lower blood pressure, reduces stress, relieves aches and pains, increases muscle recovery, which would be totally obvious. Improve creative thinking, and that's because you'll go into your relax mode, your parasympathetic. Increase energy, so you feel energized, and improve your mental state, and it makes meditation much easier. We all know the benefits of meditation. So you got hold of your float tank.
Yes.
Are there other areas that you work with in the health and wellness arena?
Yes, so one of the things, and I'm always learning and I'm always doing things, so I suppose the float therapy is the main thing.
Yes.
We do have a massage therapist on site as well, so if people want to have a massage, they can.
Yeah.
I have been studying Reiki, although I need to sort of practice that still a little bit more.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned last year was numerology, so and I found that really insightful and helpful in terms of understanding not just how I tick, but also helps you to communicate with others and maybe help to understand where they're coming from.
Break down some barriers.
It just gives you, I think, a lot more insight into perhaps what motivates certain people, and an understanding that we are all different.
Yeah, definitely.
And how we relate to other people and how we communicate with them. So it can be really helpful, even in terms of, if you're employing people for a certain task or something like that, you can look at different types of people just by
understanding. People could get in touch with you and you could give them insights into how to employ for a certain area.
Yeah, or even the type of if you've got applicants, you can have a look at their date of birth and you can understand. You know, some people are perhaps more creative. Other people are really good with numbers and figures.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
Really
accountant
slot
types,
best into.
and you know, some people are really good, you know, good communications and those types of things. So you can see where these, and you know, I mean, we all get to a certain point in our lives where we can learn all of these skills, but with numerology, it's the traits that you're born with. So the things that come easily and the things that you're naturally born with.
Okay.
So, so it's quite interesting.
And I was listening to you say earlier about chemicals, and my ears pricked up because, as you know, I had a disease that I worked with, and I had no chemicals in the house. Toothpaste, soap powder, everything went down to all natural, or less is best. So, you know, like the vinegar bicarb and that sort of thing. So that really helped me heal my body a lot quicker. And I think that's in it. So do you?
Yes. So thanks for prompting me with that. So as I said before, that was part of our journey as well, to reduce our exposure to all the potentially harmful toxins that are out there. So through that journey, I came across an Australian company called One Group, and they have a few different brands, but one of their brands is My Essence, which is actually the world's first certified organic skincare range. So
fantastic.
So the founder of that is Narelle Chenery. So she created these products that were made from completely plant-based, natural ingredients. And so together with partners, they created certified organic. So literally they're good enough to eat.
Yes. And it's Australian.
So they're certified to food grade standards. So there's different certifications out there, particularly when it comes to body care and things like that. But you know, so starting off with skincare, but now they have a whole range. So you know, from your hair care and your oral care, so toothpastes and deodorants, and even nutritional products as well. So we talked about the gut health, but I guess for me too, I mean, I've been doing that for a long time, and really it's just to be able to share that and the information that I've gathered out of that with other people, to let them know that there are alternatives out there. But it's really lovely to be able to incorporate that into Saltwater Float Spa, because
that's what I was going to say.
We've got all the products here.
You shower with and they feel beautiful, and they've got a nice, not too strong smell. They smell great, and so that was a nice experience. And then we're finishing off with a herbal tea, which is from Everlasting Health, so local products. It's just the full-on experience that you get out here with nature, the float, and Karen's really lovely. And then you've got all these products that are around you that are really healthy, and you know, everybody knows that that's where I'm coming from. And gut health is something that we're both passionate about, and I gather there are some gut health products as well.
Yes, so we do have some good quality probiotics, which have prebiotics in them as well. So, so there's and I'm always happy to talk to people about it if they've got any questions. You know, so quite often after a float, you know, if people have got time, happy to sit down and have a chat. And if they've got any specific questions, we can. And I've got information that I can share about that as well. But you know, I'm often just recommending either different books or podcasts and things to listen to. But I guess one of the best things about my business actually has been the people that I meet. You know, and it's not just me sharing my information; it's me learning from them as well. So you know, everyone's different. Everyone has a different story and experiences, and and I just love to be able to sit down and swap information and share information, and so I learn a lot from my clients as well.
And that's what I love about it too. I love I mean, we love connection anyway. People need connection, but that connection, and I'll probably throw you on the spot here a little bit. Is there any particular client with the flotation tank that sticks out in your mind that's had an interesting or an unusual or a big change in their life from doing the float spa?
Well, I've got quite a few, but probably one of the most recent ones is a young mum who recently has started floating with us, and when she first arrived, she's only had a couple of floats, mind you, but after her first float, so she was sleep deprived. She has a gorgeous son who doesn't sleep for more than half an hour at a time, depending whether it's day or night. So she's very sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And so she was feeling absolutely worn out. And so we had a bit of a chat afterwards. And she actually took one of the magnesium sprays with her as well. We've got one called Sleep Cupid. And so she took that home with her. She's still feeding him as well, so she would have had magnesium as well, plus she was obviously feeling calm. Well, the first night he slept for 2 4-hour sessions. I think he did that for about three or four nights in a row.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so just doing that, and then also she came back and she wanted to get some of the probiotics as well, because he's had some gut issues, and with the powders that we've got, it's fine for children, and so long as they're eating it's real food, so it's made from real food, it's all organic. So that's probably one of the things that comes to mind.
And that's why I asked, because we're talking about a float tank and the experience of floating, but it's the real stories from real people of who've got that sort of experience. It's not always just the time that you're in the tank, but it's what follows on afterwards.
I mean, I could, just about everybody sends me messages afterwards to say they've had the best night's sleep. Some of them in months.
Okay.
Because you're absorbing that magnesium, and that can really help. Certainly, I've actually had clients who are undergoing, treatment for cancer, and they get pain relief while they're floating as well. I can imagine,
because it is like you're floating in space. It's pretty amazing.
And coming back to that enhancing sleep, so I get a lot of people who do shift work, and they find that when they come and float at the end of the shift, it helps to get their body clocks back into
set the circadian rhythm.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
So helping to relax with sleep. But the reducing stress as well is a big one. I mean, people say, they come in and they might have a headache when they come in, but it's gone when they leave. But often the change can be quite subtle, and I can certainly see a difference with people when they arrive and when they leave. It's just you can just see they're feeling a lot more relaxed. Look, we have people who have joint problems and arthritis and things like that. They get relief from it as well. So because with the Epsom salts, the magnesium sulfate being anti-inflammatory, we can certainly and a lot of us are deficient in magnesium because we're just not getting it out of our food sources, because the soil the foods are grown in is depleted, and so you can't always get it.
And I've been swallowing a magnesium powder that was recommended to me for years now, but somebody I just heard, and I haven't done enough research, but you may know, this powder, it's a good quality powder, but apparently your body doesn't absorb it that well, and it could be a lack of something else that I don't know, but it's worth knowing that this is coming straight in through.
Well, the thing, and actually that's what's unique actually around the magnesium spray that we've got as well, which was actually they have actually moved down to Brisbane now, but it was actually originated here in Darwin at CBU.
Oh, okay.
So the doctor who created it actually was on the research team of Queensland University
Fantastic.
about how magnesium is transdermal, meaning we absorb it through our skin.
Yes.
So talking about gut health, if it all comes down to how healthy your gut is as to how much you're actually going to absorb.
Yeah, that's true.
So with the spray, it works instantaneously almost. Yeah. My husband's a keen runner,
Yes.
and you know, if he comes home and he's got sore calves or whatever, he'll put that on and he'll be bouncing around within
Yeah, fantastic.
less than a minute. You know, it can be really that good. But yes, when you're absorbing it through your skin, and so even proceeds from that still go towards more research around magnesium and that being transdermal.
Yeah.
So great way to get magnesium is just by spraying it on.
Yeah.
It can help with, you know, sleep and inflammation. So many.
Yeah.
I mean, there literally are hundreds and hundreds of different functions that magnesium performs within our body. But you can't overdose on it unless, as long as your kidneys are functioning correctly, which is why we ask a few questions beforehand, because your kidneys will filter out any excess magnesium. Okay. So you will only absorb it if you need to.
Fantastic. All right, and we'll probably have to close soon. Is there anything else that you would like to add, or something people don't know about you, or we've covered quite a bit.
We have covered quite a bit, and we could probably keep chatting for ages.
That's right, we do.
I suppose, look, I don't know that there's anything sort of specifically coming to mind, but look, if anyone's got any questions, they can get in touch with me. If anyone's got any concerns about floating, I mean, there is obviously information on our website about the basics of it all.
And the website is called?
It's
Saltwater.
darwinfloatspa.com.au.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
And the thing that I forgot to do, I think I mentioned, but if I didn't, you're given earplugs. I forgot to put them in before I got in. And that was fine. I mean, a little bit of water just sits in your ears, but it blocks a little bit of the nice music that's coming through. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time to do this conversation with Dee.
Thanks for the opportunity. It's been fun.
Fantastic. All right. So thank you everybody for listening, and until next time, bye for now.